Today I got to take a look at the first digital tabletop watch, the stainless steel version of the D-20 watch by Timestop. They sent it to me to review, but I gotta tell you, I don't know if it's gonna replace the daily driver I use. This watch I got from ThinkGeek, you know, the company that went under, so definitely known for quality products. Why go digital when analog is just fine? You've got every dice you might need, including this weird cylinder one, and they have no numbers on them, so you can really say that you roll whatever you want on the table. Kidding aside, that watch is obviously horrible. Let's take a look at this product. So you know, I was sent it for free in the mail, and I have a link to where I get a commission if people buy it. If you think that biases my review in any way, you should just know that. This one is the most expensive of the watches that they offer in the stainless steel version, but they're all in the same kind of form factor. The instructions fit on the front and back of a single playing card, which is great. It's not very complex to use at all. The wrist strap is elastic, and it's got these cool little grooves where you put a stainless steel clip into. I'm a big fan of the elastic material personally because I live in Texas, and any sort of leather wristband will absolutely make you sweat. You can sweat on your wrist. You will find out very quickly, and it's super simple to use. I was not at all perplexed on how to get this on there, and it's snug without being too tight. I have a condition known as hairy ass arms, and so that makes any of the metal watch bands that you often get with watches also out of the question because they pull at your hairs, and because it's elastic, it's got a little bit of stretch to it, so it never really feels too tight to me. As far as size, it's smaller than my stupid watch, but about the same size as an Apple Watch, and it feels like it's about the same weight to me. It's got a cool etched case back that shows what all goes into the watch, like the LCD screen and the backlighting, and most importantly, it's just comfy to wear. It's snug without being too tight and durable without being too heavy, so I appreciate both of those things. As far as the actual functionality, it's got quite a lot on here. The most important thing is you can hit a button and you roll a die. Fantastic. The first few rolls I got a crit, so hey, that's neato. Thumbs up. Oh, I can actually thumbs up with the hand that I am rolling the dice. That's pretty neat. You can hit select and cycle through all of the different die sizes, going from the D20, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and I'll show you there's a D100 functionality here as well in a minute. But you select the die size you want, you hit roll, and boom, it rolls. I love that it is quick and instantaneous, shows a little animation that lets you know you hit it, but you don't have to sit around and wait for the animation. It's got that crit animation when you land on a 20, but it also has a critical fail animation when you land on a 1. Obviously, that's only when you roll the D20 though. Now, you can change the backlighting super easy and super quickly to have no lighting show up at all, a version that only shows the random number generator light to let you know that you hit the button and it did roll a die, or my personal favorite lighting section where it does the backlight and the random number generator whenever you hit the button. I just think it looks neat, and that's part of why I like this watch. My wife calls it the Dwight watch because it looks like an 80s, 90s nerd watch. I definitely agree, but I do happen to like that style, so I really enjoy it even if she calls it the Dwight watch. My favorite feature is the combat mode. If you hit the mode button, it goes over to combat mode, which is all about rolling dice. So once you go into that mode, you can roll, or you can hit select and you'll have an advantage on your D20, which is great. It shows the high number down there larger and the number that you rolled lower on the bottom right, or disadvantage where it shows the lower number bigger and the higher number at the bottom right. That way you can differentiate between the two and know what you rolled. You can roll multiple dice at once. For example, if I'd wanted to roll 4 D20s, boom, it adds them all together. I got a 50 there. You can roll up to 12 die at any given time. I think that's fantastic and has a lot of use cases for D&D. If you hold down the select button, you go to the next set of die. After the D20 is actually a D100 function. And I know everybody was going to ask in the comments, what happens when you roll 100? Because that's the most frustrating part about trying to roll a D100 at the table. It actually shows 3 digits, 100. Hell yeah. Amazing. If it didn't have that, I would not recommend this watch, but I do love that function. It kind of gets rid of any sort of argument at the table for that. If you roll 4 d4s, maybe a magic missile spell coming out, it'll add those together for you. Or probably the most common functionality you'll get as a wizard for this is rolling 8d6, so you can roll fireball, and it'll just add those 8d6 up for you, and you just get a number. And it's super quick. You don't have to wait like 8 times as long. It goes through all the different dice functionality. Again, you can add as many as you want, up to 12, and then it goes back to the d20, where it goes to advantage, disadvantage, and so on and so forth. One good thing to know, when you go between combat mode and regular time telling mode, it saves which die you're on. It doesn't save the settings you have for that die. So if I have D20 and I want to roll 2 of them, it doesn't remember that. But if I was on the D8 function, it will remember that when I swap between. Because on the normal time telling mode, you can tell it which die you want to roll and it will roll that there. You don't have to be in combat mode. My other favorite feature is that it is not sharp on the edges. I have kids and I don't like to wear things like my big ass ring that might hurt my kids if I accidentally hit them with it. I love the tactile buttons and that there's no beeps on it. You can also check out his website if you want to see how it was made. I know a lot of my viewers are makers like me, and so that was really cool. It's a great read, and it's very detailed. So I think it's fun, and you can see how the process to make something like this goes about. I think it was really cool that he included that. Not a lot of things do want to tell you their secret sauce, so I'm glad that they did. I also wanted to show that if you hit the button, roll a die while you're in the time telling mode, it shows that number for about 12 seconds, I found, before it goes away. As far as durability is concerned, I tugged pretty hard on the elastic and did not feel any give whatsoever. I also banged it really hard against my table, specifically on the buttons, to see if that messed with their functionality. Nope, they still work just fine, and I didn't notice any damage on them or the watch. I found the backlighting to be more than adequate at night. The only complaint I really do have for the watch is the fact that it says that it's user replaceable for the battery, which should last about 3 years, but I found the screws to be extremely small, not something that I would typically have a screwdriver that small at home for. And so if I say user replaceable, I think it's something that most people have in their home, and I don't think people have a screwdriver this small. Maybe I'm just out of the norm here. Honestly, I wish I had more to complain about for this watch. It would make for better content, but it accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do. The only complaints I could see for this watch would be its style, which I happen to love, or the fact that if you have a smartwatch, there's probably an app out there that does something similar. But if you're looking for a low-tech alternative, I think you are going to be more than happy with this. If you do end up wanting to get one for yourself, you can use code Rybonator for 10% off, and I got the link in the description down below for you. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. I want to hear that too. Let me know if you think this is actually cool, or if you just think it's kind of like a niche toy. Either way, I hope you have a fantastic day.